Hello and welcome to the Scatterable channel, and today we're going to look at a pre-built gaming PC that doesn't suck. So I have issue with a lot of pre-built gaming PCs because a lot of those big box brands, especially when it comes to their more expensive PCs, usually like to cut corners. For example, they'll have a flashy CPU and GPU combination, but then place both of those items on a low quality, cheap motherboard that just doesn't bode well for future upgradability. Or something I really dislike, they focus too much on RGB and aesthetics and not enough on the thermal performance and cooling needed to satisfy the components inside their pre-built PC. Or one of my biggest gripes, they just make them too damn big. I don't get why all these expensive pre-built gaming PCs have to be ginormous. But fortunately, I have not seen any of those glaring problems so far in the STORMCRAFT Phantom pre-built gaming PC I'm going to be showcasing to you guys in this video. So when I was actually making this video, I was a little bit interested in STORMCRAFT because I've never heard of this brand before, and turns out they are a fresh pre-built gaming PC company that were founded last year. They're based in Southern California with all of their PCs exclusively assembled there, along with their own extended warranties. And I think something that I was definitely liking to, a tech support team that is based in the United States. Anyways though, you guys probably want to know the hardware inside this pre-built gaming PC because I usually don't put these on my channel, but there's a good reason why I'm featuring this. And I want to start with the CPU. Because the STORMCRAFT Phantom is using the Intel Core Ultra 270K+, the brand new Arrow Lake refresh chip from Intel. And the Intel Core Ultra 270K+, in addition to the 250K+, have to be some of my favorite Intel CPU releases of the last 5 years. Typically, when it comes to CPU refreshes, we see minimal improvements in gaming and workstation performance because there's just a simple clock speed increase along with some efficiency gains here and there, but nothing major. But what Intel have done with the Intel Core Ultra 270K and 250K+ is really impressive, not just for workstation applications, but even in gaming performance, because there is an uplift in performance versus the previous generation 265K, 245K, so on and so forth. So pair up that new CPU with the RTX 5080, which is just the top of the line NVIDIA GPU any gamer should ever consider. Anything beyond this is just simply overkill, and this will do 4K gaming without question. Path tracing, regular ray tracing, any of that, not a problem at all. Otherwise, you're given 32 gigabytes of 6000 megahertz DDR5 memory, which was definitely not cheap to source for this PC. 2 terabytes of M.2 PCI Gen 4.0 storage, an 80 plus gold 850 watt power supply, along with an MSI Pro Z890P Wi-Fi, which, by the way, is $230, so by no means is this a cheap motherboard. They're giving you a Z series motherboard if you possibly wanted to overclock that Intel CPU. Along with this 360mm all-in-one water cooler in this really interesting ATX PC case, which oddly enough is one of the shortest PC cases I've ever worked with that support a full-sized ATX motherboard, which is what I want to get into next. Like I said at the start of the video, one of my biggest complaints with premium pre-built gaming PCs like this that feature high-end CPU and GPU combos is that I feel like they have to compensate for that high price tag with going with an unnecessarily large PC case that just takes up a lot of desk space in your room. And I like to think when it comes to considering purchasing a pre-built gaming PC over, say, building your own, part of the reason why you're considering that route in the first place is convenience. And I don't find having just this huge PC case that is heavy and large and hogging it around in your room or wherever you need to move it to just isn't convenient whatsoever. So I really appreciate what STORMCRAFT have done with this compact ATX PC case, which I want to briefly highlight. For starters, this is a half-chambered PC case. And what I mean by that is that the power supply is right there. Yet, if I were to show you guys side profile of the PC case right here, its width is actually along the regular lines of a typical ATX PC case. Additionally, the full size of the ATX motherboard is touching pretty much the bottom of the PC case because the power supply got moved from down here to up there, meaning one, you're able to fit 3 120mm fans here at the bottom of the PC case, getting fresh airflow directly to the graphics card and other components in the PC case. And all the while, the height of this PC case is quite manageable. It's not going to dwarf your monitor and your keyboard and your setup. It's going to fit proportionally with it and not have to have like a huge 32-inch monitor to make this thing seem proportional. Just a regular 24 or 27-inch should look nice with this pre-built PC. So that right there is a bit about the PC, the brand, the hardware, and why I really like the PC case found in this PC. So with all that covered, let me go ahead and show you guys the gaming performance of the STORMCRAFT Phantom. So I want to show you guys the gaming performance of the STORMCRAFT Phantom, and I will say before we get into this, the start guide here is pretty much exactly what it is. It tells you just how to unbox and set up the PC for the first time, ensuring all connectors are inserted correctly, which from what I could tell, all of them were in there. None of them got loose over shipping. And it was pretty refreshing actually when I turned on this PC for the first time, because I just saw the same standard Windows desktop setup that I usually see when I build a custom PC. So I just set it up as normal, and they've also got this additional optional tips and tricks, which I think is actually mandatory because it shows you where to install your graphics card and chipset drivers, which for this PC is going to be NVIDIA drivers for the RTX 5080 and chipset drivers for that Intel Core Ultra Refresh CPU. Other than that, it took maybe about 30 minutes to set it up with all the drivers and all that, just like a custom gaming PC. And like I was telling you, we're running Resident Evil Requiem at 4K. No, seriously. Options, graphics, image. There you go, 3840 by 2160. Path tracing is turned on. We even have the luxury of enabling motion blur, which we'll go ahead and turn off. We have hair strands on. Pretty much everything is dialed up because when I set up this game, I chose to prioritize graphics over performance. And look at that, 70 FPS. Of course, we got some things running in the background. We have frame generation running as well, but this is a good implementation of frame generation using DLSS 4.5, I believe. And for a single player game like Resident Evil that isn't multiplayer, although there may be a multiplayer mode in this game, getting anywhere from 70 to 80 FPS at 4K, it's just splendid. I mean, sure, if you want to do more competitive gaming, which we will do in a sec, you may want to lower the resolution and get higher frame rate. But for just cinematic graphical experiences like this PC has it covered. All right, now here's that other game I wanted to show you. Here's Arc Raiders. I know plenty of you guys are playing this game. This game, I don't know how well it runs usually on PCs, and I quite honestly couldn't tell you a good metric because just here, booting up the game for the first time, the graphics simply chose themselves because what do we have? Epic settings on everything. Yes, we do have NVIDIA DLSS turned on, but we are getting at 1440p, everything maxed out for the most part from what I can tell, over 150 FPS. So if you have a 1440p, 165 hertz monitor, and you even just lower the settings a little bit, you're going to be maxing out the refresh rate that is visible on your 1440p 165 hertz monitor. And I guess if there's a seriously big battle or something happening, you could tone this down to high settings, medium, or whatever. You're still going to get an abundance of frame rate that shouldn't cause any concern to you. And if you even wanted to turn off DLSS, by all means, go for it. You have a 5080 in here at the end of the day. And that thing, even without DLSS, is still going to be plenty fast. So I think I've proved my point. Let's wrap up the STORMCRAFT Phantom. So as you can tell, the CPU and GPU combination in this PC is going to have no issue running basically anything, even up to 4K, even if you enable path tracing on a certain game here and there, this is gonna run it all. But note, there are many other various configurations on STORMCRAFT's website, but this one is gonna be one of the cream of the crop, featuring that really awesome Intel Arrow Lake Refresh CPU with a top-of-the-line RTX 5080. So to recap, I just like that this is a really lean pre-built PC. It doesn't do anything unnecessary or extra for its price tag. It gives you the essentials while not sacrificing or compromising on the main components that make up the heart of this PC. So it's got good bones, and the price tag, I believe, is going to be quite worth it. So if you wanted to buy this PC or check out the brand, I'll have it linked in the description down below. So with all that said, thank you so much for watching, and this is the Scatterable channel, signing out.